You're in the trenches with Dave Lapham, presented by First Star Logistics. Day 3 of the Cincinnati Bengals in training camp was today. Lapham was on hand. And Lap, first thing I got to talk about. I saw a picture of you hanging out with the great Anthony Munoz and also the great Max Montoya. You guys had to be trading a lot of different stories about how much the difference in camp is compared to when you guys were together.
Yeah, there's no question. It was tremendous catching up with Anthony and Max, and that's one thing about training camp is you've got the veteran players, the guys that played a few years with the Cincinnati Bengals that have since retired and still live in the community of Cincinnati, though, have decided to make Cincinnati home for their families, and guys will come down to training camp practices and get access on the sideline and kind of be very, very interested observers, to say the least. And Anthony and Max came down. It was yesterday when that photo was taken, when we were all together and checking out practice, and it was great. It's really fun catching up with guys, that you played with in that environment. You played with them, you blood, sweat, and tears, through training camp with them, and training camps were burden, boy, back in the day. Double sessions, full pads. They tested your manhood, man. There's no doubt about it. 2.5-hour practices twice a day, meetings at night. Sometimes walk through practice in the mornings. It was a full day's work. Didn't seem like the day was 24 hours. I mean, it was just totally consumed by football. It went by so quickly. Those hours flew by so quickly. But to see those guys in this environment, after the fact, we're all done playing football. We're at the mercy of stories now and remembrances by everybody as to what went on and what happened and what we did. But it is great to be with Anthony and Max. I mean, the Mexican connection, man. Those guys elevated the organization, not just the offensive line and the offensive line play. They lifted the entire organization with their abilities on the football field and their character. They gems, just standard gold, man, in terms of character, and gold standard, I should say. They set a very, very high bar for people to try to reach, and both as football players, and they're obviously more than effective in that regard, but as human beings, and the character that they displayed and the leadership, and they were just people you want to be friends with. It's you meet people, great people during the course of your life, and you like to have an association and form some sort of friendship, some sort of bond that you can say that you could rely on that, for your entire lifetime. Well, that's how Anthony Munoz, Max Montoya, and I feel about each other. We feel like, if needed, if there's some sort of a situation with our families where need help from somebody else with a family situation that you're dealing with, you can call on us. I mean, we're available 24/7, no questions asked. Whatever you need, we're there, and that kind of support is meaningful, to say the least. And it comes from the respect that you have for each other after playing right next to a guy for a bunch of years, and seeing what kind of a player, not only a player he was, but person he was in terms of the way he prepared himself to play the game, how he went out and executed the game, and then what type of human being, what type of family, what are his kids like that he's raising, what's his wife like to be around and to be with, and in all of those areas, high grades, A+ grades for Anthony Munoz and Max Montoya. I mean, they just had it figured out, at all levels, life and football. Football is a slice of life, and they had football figured out. They had the bigger picture, a picture of life figured out as well, with respect to their families and interaction with other families on the football team.
On the field, the Bengals offense led by Joe Burrow. Never surprised with anything Joe Burrow does, especially when he's connecting with Jamar Chase, but he's also finding other receivers like he always does, and the offense sounds like it's starting to come together in day 3.
No doubt about it, Dave. I think the Bengals have had potent offenses over the years. I mean, the offenses that Kenny Anderson led at the quarterback position with the receivers that he had, Isaac Curtis, Chip Myers, Charlie Joyner. I mean, we were dynamic in the 70s. Bill Walsh, with his scheme, his West Coast offense, schematic. We were just a snootful for every defensive football team that we played against, including the dreaded Pittsburgh Steelers. They had a hell of a time stopping Bill Walsh and Kenny Anderson, the receiving core that we had. And, we always split with the Pittsburgh Steelers. They'd win the division and go on and win Super Bowls, but we'd always play them very, very tight. They were always great football games. We won some by a touchdown or less and lost some by a touchdown or less. They were always fierce battles, highly contested. And so, the offenses back then in the 70s, the 1975 offense was phenomenal. Didn't go to a Super Bowl, but it went to a playoff game, and it was 11-3 during the regular season, and scored a myriad of points on a bunch of good defensive football teams. Kenny Anderson was MVP. Bill Walsh was soon to be named the San Francisco 49ers head football coach because of what took place that season offensively. You have the quarterback performing at an unbelievable level, gets MVP of the league. You have the offensive coordinator that's not named offensive coordinator, but that was his role, basically, coordinating our offense and calling plays on game day that led to tremendous success and led to a head coaching position for him. So that was a great team to be part of. And, it's the quarterback play every year that the Bengals went to the Super Bowl was an MVP season for that quarterback. Joe Burrow was a runner-up, I think. The year the Bengals went to the Super Bowl was Joe Burrow at the helm. But he had an MVP-type season. I mean, incredible year. And I think he is going to have the best year of his career, and I think he is going to be league MVP, and I think he's going to lead the Cincinnati Bengals to a Super Bowl victory. I think all those things are going to happen. He'll be the best player in the league and be named MVP. He's going to lead his team to maybe an undefeated season. That would not shock me whatsoever in the regular season. And then go on a run in the playoffs where, continue to play hot. Don't peak too early in the regular season. Build to a crescendo at the end of the year and take that into the playoffs and perform at a high level there and keep working to build further success through the playoffs and win that Super Bowl. Would not shock me if they run the table and they win the Super Bowl and bring the Lombardi Trophy back to Cincinnati, Dave.
One of the biggest knocks on the Bengals since Joe Burrow became a member of the program is the fact the offensive line has always kind of left Joe out there and been one of the most hit quarterbacks in the NFL. One of the young players brought in, Dyllan Fairchild, looks to be starting to make a mark. And what's your assessment early on of Dyllan Fairchild?
He's very impressive to watch, Dave. I like him a lot. I think he's an outstanding football player. I think he's made of the right stuff, both physically and mentally and emotionally. He's very impressive. He's been coached extremely well. You can tell that he had really good coaches in his high school and collegiate career. And I know for a fact that the coaches at Georgia talked about how well he was coached in his high school career and how well he played. And they knew that they had a ready-made product going to the University of Georgia, and he played a ton of games down there. I think he might be the record holder in the offensive line, maybe close to the record holder for anybody for games started and games played at University of Georgia. And I think the Bengals feel the same way, having played and performed the way he did in the SEC at Georgia against Alabama, LSU, and teams like that, amongst the best in the nation every year. Has him ready to play at the NFL, which is the best league in the world, and to compete at a very, very high level at a difficult position to do so at a young age in the offensive line. There's a lot to learn there. Veteran players, have a lot of tricks up their sleeve. Some of these veteran defensive linemen aren't just skilled in terms of their physical attributes. They've got a mind for the game. They're very, very bright. They're always looking to improve their game. They have a bunch of tricks up their sleeve, and they're not hesitant to throw them out there. So it'll be a test for Fairchild to start as a rookie, but I don't think it's too big for him to do that. I think he'll be able to rise to the occasion. I think that this kid will accept the challenge. and will thrive while he's showing that he can handle that challenge. So I'm very, very excited and interested to see how Fairchild plays for the Cincinnati Bengals. And they've got a tough schedule, always do. We always have that tough division. AFC North is a physical division. The defenses are extremely strong, fast, quick, change of direction abilities, can blitz. I mean, anything that a defense has to do to be great, the defenses in the AFC North can do it. So it'll be a challenge for him. Like I said, he competed against great talent and great schematics in the SEC, but scratching the surface now as compared to what he might see in the National Football League, having been exposed to the things that he saw in the SEC. So I'm excited about him. I think his future is extremely bright. I think he's got really good players around him that will help him, can help nurture him. He's going to make a mistake here and there, and that's the biggest key for a rookie lineman. Don't kill your veteran teammates with silly mental mistakes. Don't make a half a dozen mental errors that's going to cost you and cost your football team and cost the offensive line. And I think Greg Fairchild understands that. I think he went through that process as a young player at Georgia, and he passed with flying colors. And I think he's going to do the same thing in the National Football League. I think this kid is a special player, and I think he's going to be very special for the Cincinnati Bengals, lining up the inside of the offensive line at the guard position for the Bengals for many, many years to come.
Only 3 days in the training camp, but to stay on the offensive line there, Scott Peters, the new offensive line coach, we spoke yesterday about the changes defensively as far as the coaching staff. Really not a lot of changes offensively, except Scott Peters coming in as the O-line coach. Early assessment of what you're seeing, how he's interacting with the guys, and maybe the different techniques.
Yeah, I think both of the coaches, Dave, we talked about Scott Peters, what he's doing with the offensive line. And Jerry Montgomery is doing the exact same things with the defensive line. I think both of these new coaches to the coaching staff that are going to be coaching the in the trenches, the upfront guys, the guys that are also important to leading the team to victory, are outstanding. I mean, Scott Peters is bright. He's brilliant, actually. And he's got new techniques, new fundamentals that he's bringing to the table for the Bengals offensive linemen. They are eating it up. I mean, they can't get enough of it. It's interesting to watch them respond to what Scott Peters is doing and how he's teaching his techniques, and they are really, really excited about how much is going to help them defeat their opponents on a weekly basis in the National Football League. And then you look at Jerry Montgomery; he's doing the same thing. Jerry Montgomery is a guy that teaches technique, teaches fundamentals, teaches the basics of defensive line play, and he wants his defensive linemen to master them. Physically, he's looking for a certain type of prototype of defensive lineman, defensive player, but then he also wants the intangibles of a brilliant-minded guy. Somebody that can understand exactly everything that Jerry Montgomery is teaching and why he's teaching it. That's the all-important thing. Is why is Jerry Montgomery asking me to do this? What will happen when I follow the techniques and the fundamentals that Jerry Montgomery is teaching me? Well, what's going to happen is you're going to beat a lot of good football teams. You're going to beat a lot of good individual football players that you match up with. And Jerry Montgomery's techniques and fundamentals are going to carry the day. They're going to help you win those football games, those matchups, those one-on-ones that you have to get on your side of the ledger to win important football games, particularly in the AFC North, like we talked about, as physical as the division is. And then Scott Peters, I mean, he's all about technique and fundamentals as well, and his are cutting edge. With the jiu-jitsu and the martial arts, and he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. I mean, the guy knows what he's talking about, and he applies it to football like I've never seen before. I mean, he is all about hands and feet, and jiu-jitsu, that's a big deal. Using your hands properly, and then excellent footwork is necessary. And he's a technician in that regard, and he wants his linemen to be perfect with their footwork and with their hand placement and using a long arm and things of that nature. It starts with the feet, and he always wants his linemen to have their feet in proper position. And he's more of a parallel stance guy than one foot back a lot further than the other in your 3-point stance. He's more of a parallel stance guy, feet kind of parallel with each other, and then he's got that long arm because you can with that footwork you can basically use either arm, make either arm a long arm, and then that one foot is going to advance toward the line of scrimmage and help lengthen that arm. So that's why he wants the feet to be parallel. He wants to be able to use a long arm both outside and inside, and to change things up and to utilize all the tools that you have in the toolbox. And his long arm deal is martial arts driven, and it keeps the defender at bay. You get that arm on him right away, extend that arm, make the defensive lineman restart. Take away his first move, stagnate him, stand him up, absolutely stop his momentum and his movement exploding out of the stance with that long arm and make him restart. You got him. I mean, it's, the football is out normally in 3.5 seconds in the National Football League. If you're asking the quarterback to hold on to the football, 4 or 5 seconds, that's a while to pass protect in the National Football League. And you're gonna give up a lot of sacks. And the Bengals did give up a lot of sacks last year, and it wasn't because the quarterback was holding the ball for 4 or 5 seconds. It's that their pass protection just wasn't good enough. And I think, that's one of the biggest reasons Scott Peters was hired, is to get that offensive line pass blocking at a much higher level, a much better success rate. And the long arm, the footwork, the techniques that he's teaching, and the mental part of it is key as well. Getting used to working with your teammate on either side of you. If you're playing the guard position, get things down with the offensive tackle, and then also with the center, and be able to pass off stunts, be able to read stunts, handle them, be able to call out assignments, adjust assignments after the defense might make an adjustment to try to stop something that you're doing at the line of scrimmage and you've done effectively earlier in the game. You have to have something else you can go to offensively, and be aware of that, and have that in your toolbox and be able to go to it and make an immediate adjustment in the game if that's necessary to go out and win snaps and ultimately win the football game. So I think Jerry Montgomery is doing a hellacious job with the defensive line. Scott Peters is thank you, sir. Scott Peters is doing the exact same thing up front with the offensive line, and I think both areas there's going to be dramatic improvement. I think the fan base, so you won't have to be a football savant to understand that the Bengals are playing much better the offensive and defensive line. You'll be able to see who's winning the line of scrimmage. I mean, even a novice football fan can tell who's taking control and winning the line of scrimmage on a snap by snap basis. We talk about that in the trenches. You got to win the war up front. And, the Bengals are going to have to win a higher percentage of the battles and wars up front to get to where they want to get to this year. And as I said earlier, in my mind, they have the potential to win the division, run the table in division, run the table in regular season, keep that momentum and going in the postseason, and play even at a little bit higher level that's going to be necessary to take you to the Super Bowl, and then win that. Go undefeated and raise the Lombardi Trophy. Everybody travel back to Cincinnati in a happy state of mind.
You're in the trenches with Dave Lapham, presented by First Star Logistics. First Star Logistics, one of the fastest growing companies in Cincinnati. As Lapham and I can tell you from our experience, a great atmosphere to work in. We always enjoy being in the studios at First Star Logistics. They provide for us. And we also enjoy visiting the kitchen when they have the ice cream machine running and the popcorn machine going. So you always have a quick snack there while we're there in the studios. Lap, I got to turn it over to defense. A year ago, the Bengals brought in Gino Stone as one of their headliners of the 2024 free agency class. And even though Stone had 4 interceptions a year ago and he combined for about 81 tackles, fans, I don't think, really felt Gino Stone was as great of a player as what they were expecting after he came off of a 7-interception season with the Baltimore Ravens. But early on, it looks like Gino Stone and Al Golden's scheme and maybe become a match made for each other.
Yeah, I agree with that, Dave. I think that Gino Stone is looking to have a big rebound season. And, there's plenty to rebound from. Usually when you're talking about a rebound season, the season before didn't go as well as you had hoped. And it's not like he was terrible. Like you said, he had 4 interceptions. He had a bunch of tackles. He made plays. But he didn't have a Gino Stone type season. You mentioned the 7 interceptions. It's 4 interceptions isn't awful. Like I said, it's more than halfway there. But the thing when he had the 7 interception season, he didn't give up any big plays. So I mean, the 7 interceptions, the positive plays that he made in favor of the defense and the negative plays that he allowed in favor of the opposition offense swung heavily to favoring what he was doing for his defensive football team. Last year, the 4 interceptions, I mean, that was good, but he had a lot of big plays that he allowed. And those big plays were crippling. And those big plays would lead to, massive yardage, first downs, obviously, or massive yardage gained or touchdowns. And, now you look at the ledger and his positive plays with the interceptions and other pass breakups or whatever, and then take the other side of it, negative plays where he, didn't handle an interception, maybe a ball deflected off his hands that he should have caught or should have knocked down, and it led to a completion, which might have been a touchdown or a big yardage gained. Bottom line is when you took the negative plays and positive plays and worked that formula, the negative plays won out last season in terms of what Gino Stone did for the football team. So he wants to get back on track to the way he played the year before. And he has had, multiple seasons like he played the year before in the National Football League. It's not a foreign thing to him. He was not just a one-hit wonder with the season he had last year. A couple of years before that, he led the NFL in interceptions. I mean, this guy has done it before. So Gino Stone has capabilities and physical talents to be, a premier impact player in the National Football League for his defense. And, he's the leader too. He is the one that is recognizing things when teams try to change their formation, go in motion, line up with different personnel groupings to try to keep the defense, and in particular secondary, off balance. Gino Stone is the guy that deciphers it all, boils it all down, makes a defensive call to remedy any angst that the defense might have with what the offense is doing. And a lot of times, players have to do that. Leadership players that understand the schematics and what the defensive coordinator is trying to get done have to make instantaneous calls on the football field before they can get to the sideline and make adjustments with the coach on the bench. So Gino Stone's an important guy to the Cincinnati Bengals defense. He's going to have a big year, both physically and mentally, for the Bengals to get where they want to go. And, I'm talking about, running the table, like I mentioned. If Gino Stone plays at a high level, it's going to make it easier for everybody. The back end of the defense, if it doesn't give up big plays and, cheap touchdowns, whatever the case may be, holds the opponent to 10 points or 10, 14 points a game, going to win a lot of football games, particularly with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and the weapons, the Mike Gesicki and the weapons the Bengals have offensively. You kidding me? You hold the opponent to 14, 17 points a game, you're going to win a bunch of them. And I think the defense has the personnel and the defensive coordinator and the mentality and the mindset to do that. I think they realize if they do, they're going to be rewarded, and the entire football team is going to be rewarded at an extremely high level, and that would be a Lombardi trophy that they can take back to Cincinnati.
Lap, I want to leave on this here, basically. 3 days in training camp. Things start really heating up after today, don't they?
They do. And we're talking figuratively and literally. And as each day has gone by here, the old temperatures have gone up and the humidity has gone up. It's like they're turning up the cooker, man. It's like the grill is heating up. And, it's the players have to do a good job staying hydrated and taking care of their bodies, making sure they get the proper rest. Because they're coaches aren't going to back off in terms of what they're doing in terms of installation. Every day, something new is going to be added to the mix. Be it a play, be it a formation, be it a personnel grouping, be it a motion, whatever it is, offensively. And then defensively, they're going to add a blitz or a pressure package or a coverage, that's going to be unique and different from what they've been running at the early stages of training camp. So the playbooks are going to be installed on a day-to-day basis, and each and every day there'll be a run play and a run defense in the morning, and then in the afternoon they'll install a pass play. And the run play will maybe be in the morning workout, and then the pass play in the evening meeting, or vice versa. Install a pass play in the physical practice part of things, and a run play in the evening meeting from a mental standpoint. Bottom line is, if you add one play from each part of an offensive attack, the run and the pass, one play per day, all of a sudden you get through 3 weeks of training camp, you have 21 plays, off pass plays and run plays, 42 plays for a game plan. That's way too many. Now you're going to be able to pick and choose. What have we done best? What's looked best for us? What kind of formations do we operate out of most effectively? Are we better running the football between the tackles? Or are we an outside running team? Are we better attacking the edges of a secondary? Or are we better off going down the middle and destroying the defense in the middle of the football field? All these things are going to be determined as training camp goes, ticks off the calendar day by day by day. In the early stages of it, the installation part of it is in the early stages as well. But by the end of training camp, they'll go into the season opener with an arsenal, and they'll have plenty. They'll have too much, really. It's going to be the biggest challenge for the coaches is going to be to pare it down and decide what it is that I want my players to do, and build a foundation. And here's the thing. Here are the things. Here are the 15 or 20 core plays, offensively and defensively, in the running game and passing game, that I feel show the identity of my football team. And we have to do this well every single week. We cannot allow the opposing offense or defense to take advantage of us when we're in these basic, fundamentally sound, foundational things of our offense or our defense. We have to win. We have to dominate. We have to do a great job in making them blink, making them adjust, and not us. We can't blink. Make them blink, and that's going to be a big determining factor into who's going to win football games, particularly early on in the season. You don't want to be the one to blink. You don't want to be the one to blink early in the football game. I mean, nothing worse than in your opener in the first quarter, come to the sideline and you look at your offensive coordinator. It's like, God, they know everything. I mean, they got us down cold. Every time we line up in this formation, they start yelling plays that we're going to run. Every time we do this, they know exactly where we're going and how we're attacking. There's no worse feeling than that. So now you have to have a foundation, and then you have to have an ability to go to other parts of that 42 plays, that you've got, that you might be able to go to in that first football game, and have you get your foundation, then you have you build the first floor, and if the first floor starts working, you add the second floor, and pretty soon you have a house. You don't want it to be a house of cards. You don't want it to fall apart. You don't want to put it too much in too early and have confusion and uncertainty up there in the offensive line at the line of scrimmage. Not knowing exactly what you're supposed to do on every single snap, every single play. And if you're up there making mistakes 5-6 times a game that's costing your football team, you can't have that. Can't have it. You're not going to be playing very long. In fact, you may get yanked in the opener. So make sure that you're not the guy that's costing your football team. Make sure when you come to the sideline, it's like, Jesus, it was him again. God, Lapham's killing us, man, at the guard position. The dude's going the wrong way. He doesn't know who the hell to block. He's lost out there. Can't be that guy. If you are, you're not going to last very long. You won't be that guy probably to finish that football game. You'll be benched. But, You can't have multiple guys doing that. You got 2 or 3 guys up front having brain cramps 5 times a game. That's 15 brain cramps. That's a bunch of the plays. So early on, you have to be mentally sharp, physically sharp, know exactly what you're doing, how you're doing it, and most importantly, why you're doing it, why you're attacking the defense in this manner. How will it break the defense down? How will it make it easier for you to go out and execute your assignments properly and win football games?
You've been In the Trenches with Dave Lapham, presented by First Star Logistics. First Star Logistics is hiring. To learn more about First Star Logistics, visit firststarlogistics.com, a great place to work at. Lap, can't always thank you enough for you taking the extra time to do these camp reports. I know the fans are enjoying them, and we look forward to talking to you again soon.
Appreciate it, Dave. It's a lot of fun. We know that In the Trenches with Dave Lapham, brought to you by First Star Logistics and produced by Dave Burke. We know how important the fans are. Without the fans, we got nothing. The fans of the Cincinnati Bengals are extraordinary, and they want all the information they can get. And they're a very, very highly educated fan base. Paul Brown used to talk about that. He used to say, you gentlemen, you're very fortunate. The fans here in the city of Cincinnati understand football. So, it's they know why things went the way they went. They know that we didn't play very well. If that indeed was the case, there was no hiding that fact from them. Sometimes, they understand the luck didn't go our way. And there's a big component to that. You have to be lucky to win football games and be good. And they understand that, and they're forgiving to that. The thing they're not forgiving to is being a dumbbell, being up there and not knowing what the hell you're supposed to do. And the fans aren't going to tolerate that for very long whatsoever here in the city of Cincinnati, because they know what they're looking at. And when they see an unblocked player at the line of scrimmage, they know the right guard, left guard, center, whoever screwed up. They can figure that out pretty quickly. So, there's no camouflaging that. There's no hiding the evidence when you screwed up. You've got to own up to it, live up to it, and do everything you possibly can to play as high a level as you possibly can, both physically, mentally, and emotionally. And if you do that, you're going to win a lot of football games here in the city of Cincinnati.
We appreciate everybody taking part in the Trenches with Dave Lapham, brought to you by First Star Logistics. Please hit that like button, subscribe to In the Trenches with Dave Lapham if you've not done so already. Until next time, Hoo-day.
Hoo-day, Dave.